All right, part two of this little brake conundrum issue we've got going on here. We found using the other parts from the Renspeed. These are jumper brake lines that go from right to left on the front because the fluid doesn't flow through. All this stuff is junk. I've already drilled and tapped everything for English and put the fittings and stuff. It's just getting ready to put them on the cart. We'll go ahead and put the brake lines on it. So this is the original CRG. This was the cracked nut. We just pushed it off. This one here, as you can see, is a different type of nut. It's got a knurl to it. It didn't spin real well, so we knocked it off. We pressed it off as well. You can see on Larry's jumpers, he had a different nut. He replaced a nut on here. That's probably maybe the one that was leaking. Maybe it was leaking from here. I don't know. This is another one of Larry's. We're going to use as donor, right? So it's had different nuts on them. I mean, you can obviously replace these things. I'll show you how easy this is to do. Right, we went ahead and put a nut and a ferrule on here, and we even tightened it down on the fitting. We put the fitting in the vise here, right? And we went ahead and tightened it down, and that ferrule doesn't really lock down like it does on the old nylon stuff, right? You see, this is metal. This isn't nylon. So how does it seal? I really don't know. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're going to go through the motions, right? So I'm going to show you real quick. Here, I'll just put you right here and show you real quick how easy it is to knock one of these things off. Right? You want to tighten it down, but you just want to keep the nut from moving. Oh, look at that. It just pulled right off. You just watched me do that. It just pulled right off. And this ferrule actually looks like it's new, so maybe Larry tried to do a little reworking of his own. Here, I'm gonna have to knock one of these out to show you just how easy this really was. You just take a punch, right? So we're holding on the nut, and we're gonna push the brake line right out. I'm barely, look at this, I'm barely touching this, it's moving. Barely hitting it. There's no pressure there at all. Very little pressure. So I wondered when I looked on Mondo, you see how easily that came right off of there. When I looked on Mondo Kart, you can actually buy some of the fittings and stuff, and I thought, wow, gee, it just didn't hit me that you're able to rebuild this stuff yourself. So I'm going to rebuild both these brake lines. I'm going to blow carb cleaner or something through and blow them out clean, make sure they're good and cleaned out. Again, this was the CRG and this was the Renspeed. The Renspeed one looks a little funky and dirty, right? So we'll blow and clean them out. We'll get nuts and ferrules on, on everything, and then we'll put them aside. We'll go ahead and finish cleaning up the other half of this CRG caliper. We'll bag everything up and get ready for placing our order on Mondo for our fuel tank, the seals for this thing here. I don't think there's anything else we're going to need, but we will go ahead and climb upstairs before we're done for today and get the other steering shaft down. They do have, I think it's Wild Kart makes this bit is actually billet, and there's different holes in it in the steering shaft, just like there is for your hub, and you can put it in 3 different positions. You buy the whole steering shaft, the adjustable thing, and everything. Some of the steering shafts visibly looked like this distance from here to there was all the way up to here. And look, folks, that's what we need. If we were to move the rods to the top of this thing here, they'd be okay. And there really isn't any way to do that down here. You can't space it. The bolt end of this is only so long. There's really only so much you can do. So we'll check into that as well. But just wanted to bring you a quick update on what we're doing. Yes, as a backup plan, once I get all this other stuff cleaned up and in order, we'll go ahead and measure like we said in the first video, and get our pieces cut out and made up for this here in case this thing leaks or doesn't hold a bleed. The brake lines leak or don't hold a bleed, we'll have plan B. Always have to have plan B at RPM. Talk to y'all later. Hang in there. It'll get better. We're working on her.